I think so. It's called the behavioral adaptation, another polyvagal concept that whatever state we get stuck, because we can get stuck in these states. That's what trauma is being stuck in a defensive state. Trauma is not the thing you went through. Trauma is how that thing impacted you or the lack of things. Like if you didn't get enough safety or safe enough parenting growing up, that would leave you in a defensive state. Likewise, if you survived a thing like a sexual assault, that could potentially leave you in a certain state. So trauma is not the thing you went through. Trauma is the state that you're left in, the defensive state. It's being stuck in a defensive state. So yeah, substance abuse could be a way that somebody copes, the way that they will self-medicate, the way they cope, but we call it a behavioral adaptation. That might be their way of, I think, climbing their ladder, or at least it's more like a faux climbing the ladder. Like you're not actually activating your safe and social system, I don't think, but or if you are, it's kind of like a hack in a way. So it's not. Are you truly building your capacity to feel safe, feel connected? I would say probably not. But it is a behavioral. It's like a way to cope with the pain of being in a stuck defensive state. Is how I understand it. I think relief. Relief is a pretty big, and I've worked in substance abuse a lot, and relief over and over again is something that people say they get out of it. Like I don't have to feel whatever it is, rather than I get to feel whatever. It's more like I don't have to feel these other things. Absolutely. And those can be done. Well, I mean, anything can be done. Like anything I think could be a behavioral adaptation where we're just sort of compulsively doing it. And even for myself, my home away from home is more of a shutdown state and my whole life. And coming out of that, I feel this sort of sympathetic drive, right? And now I've used that rather than like listening to it, feeling it, and letting it do its thing. I'll go like crazy on like creating content. I'll go on this blitzkrieg of like recording stuff and writing stuff and like that because I'm not listening to it, I'm not feeling it. And so rather than feeling it and being with it and meditating on it maybe or journaling around it and really being with it, it kind of consumes me and then it comes through in this other avenue, which is not, it's very productive. I can be very productive in this state, but it's not exactly productive in helping me actually climb my polyvagal ladder. So anything can be a behavioral adaptation. For me, that was a way that I can cope with my sympathetic state returning. But other things are ways that we can listen to and be with that energy. So if we're doing like yoga is a way that someone can come out of shutdown, feel some sympathetic return in a safe environment with safe people. They have structure, they have guidance, they have co-regulation, they have smiles from people, they can feel their muscles. So that's a really good way. Meditation can be a way to feel these things. Gardening easily fits into that. Trimming my road, I used to do a lot of trimming of my rose bushes in the back. And there's something just kind of peaceful about it. You get in the moment, you tap into your five senses, and you just be. And whatever feelings you have are okay. That's a heck of a lot different than me frantically doing something as a way to cope with how I feel. All of us are pulled in some direction. Usually they can be called hobbies, they can be called passions, or maybe there's just something inside of us that we haven't really nurtured. And it's just like my mom she's a wonderful artist. She can sketch, I mean, just so good. But she kind of let that skill and that passion taper off. So it's still within her. And I remember as a kid, like seeing her beautiful drawings in her sketchbook and be like, why aren't you doing this? You know, and she's like, well, I had kids. It's not really an option anymore. But we all have these things inside of us that we're pulled towards. And if we can listen to them and be with those pulls, there's little clues in there as to like why or what about those things for our nervous system in particular feel right, feel good, or help us climb our polyvagal ladder. I love drawing personally. I love to draw. My whole life I've been an artist. I've been drawing. But I didn't really notice that I really just I like the touch of the paper, especially like the brown toned paper, tan toned paper. I like the way the markers glide across that paper. I like the way the colored pencil just sits on the paper. Like there's experiences within my hobby that I'm pulled towards, and something about those when I'm with them, I just feel lighter. My breathing becomes easier. I feel more grounded in my body in the present moment. I'm more likely to be able to socially engage with people. So there's things, these hobbies or these passions or these things that we're curious about. It's there for a reason. It speaks to our system, I think, and can actually help us climb our ladder.